Communication is key. This is something that Herpa has been struggling with for many years, but there might be light towards the end of the tunnel. So where are they failing us and where are they finally starting to improve? That's what we will take a look at right now. Herpa is clearly struggling on all fronts, and one of them in particular is communicating with their customers. Why is this so important, you might ask? Well, I would argue that many of the frustrations the community is facing could be significantly reduced if Herpa started to manage expectations and didn't leave their customers in the dark.
Let's take delays with releasing models, for instance. Of course, Herpa, just like the rest of the world, is in the middle of the corona crisis, which has heavily impacted production, but most of all disrupted the international flow of goods. As Herpa produces their models in China, they are reliant on stable and affordable transportation from China to Europe, which at the moment just doesn't exist, and Herpa clearly hasn't been shy of pointing that out
as one of the major reasons for the many delayed models. But Herpa just isn't quite as honest as they would like us to believe, as the issue with many delayed model releases
is a persisting problem and existed for Herpa long before Corona came along. Corona has clearly not made it easier for Herpa, but it just isn't the core problem.
While delayed releases are an annoyance for many of Herpa's customers, there are many good reasons for such delays, like disruptions in transportation, issues during production, change of licensing terms, or requests by airlines. I would argue that what frustrates Scale 500 collectors
isn't so much the delay, but the fact that there is absolutely no information about the reason, let alone the expected new release date for a model. Leaving some customers who might have trusted Herpa enough to pre-order a model completely in the dark for weeks, months, and sometimes even years. Sometimes rumors are circulating in the community about a specific model being delayed due to a production issue in the print or for whatever other reason, but there is never an official statement from Herpa. I would rather wait a few months longer for a model, knowing that this time is spent by Herpa fixing an issue with the product than getting another botched model. But I want to know why I am waiting, and as a customer in the 21st century, I also expect to know when Herpa intends to be ready to release the new product.
It is, however, not all doom and gloom. Herpa has since last year started to host 1 or 2 Instagram live streams a year,
and even bilingual in German and English. This gives many collectors from around the world the first ever opportunity to directly communicate with Herpa,
ask them questions, and finally also getting answers. This is a great step forward.
And Herpa deserves praise for this. Obviously, Herpa needs to improve the abysmal production quality of these streams that often cut out due to a bad internet connection, often have terrible audio quality, and let's not talk about the image quality, but it shows an attempt from Herpa to start a dialogue with their customers. So the Instagram live streams are a great initiative, but can only be the first of many steps to come.
Herpa used to announce their new models 4 to 5 months in advance.
This was great because it gave collectors a chance to understand what products Herpa was working on and what products they could look forward to in the near future. The near future, however, far too often turned into a distant future as model after model was delayed.
While I haven't kept a comprehensive statistic, my estimate would be that about 80% of herpawings releases end up being delayed. But since I haven't really kept track, let's be fair to Herpa and say that about 50% of all Herpa Scale 500 releases end up being delayed. Now, that's better than 80, but it's still not great.
I have long been an advocate for Herpa to stop announcing new models while having so many announced yet still unreleased models, and they have in a way listened. End of 2021, Herpa announced that going forward they would stop the practice of pre-announcing models 4 to 5 months in advance and switch to the practice we know from both JC Wings and NG models that announce their new products only a few weeks or about 1 month before the new models are released.
We've therefore also changed a bit our rhythm of the new releases. You've probably noticed that, and we've reported about that as well. We've taken that opportunity just also to install this new release schedule so that we can be sure that the items that we do announce, that they will reach you on time.
This, of course, gives Herpa some much needed breathing space. Firstly, due to the switch in how they announce new models, they in reality get a break of a few months, which they otherwise wouldn't have, which I hope they are using to catch up with delayed models. Secondly, with the much shorter announcement of new models, they can make sure that they only announce models where they actually have managed to produce the necessary models in time, and hence all but eliminate the occurrence of delayed models, at least on paper. But why only on paper, you might ask? Well,
the new announcement method doesn't solve any of Herpa's issues with their production partners in China. But what it does is shield the customer from experiencing these delays as much as in the past. It is definitely a good thing that customers won't see these delays going forward, as it will alleviate many of the frustrations they have had. But Herpa still needs to tackle the underlying issues that are leading to delays. If Herpa does start to work on their product quality again, then in combination with the new release announcement strategy, they could just manage to turn this company around. This is the second chapter in a series of videos where we want to go a bit deeper into the many issues the Scale 500 community is facing and where and how we expect Herpa to improve. So do stay tuned for the upcoming chapters.